Welcome back to the channel, guys. All right, so today I thought I've had this ready for a while. Thought I'd take an opportunity to just show you a little bit about rebuilding some rolling cultivators. Now, I discovered something the other day, and looks like, so first I'll start off what I think these are Lilliston rolling cultivators. So you got some you can buy from Ag Supply. And what I found out, and I did not know, I had bought some bearings and some parts from Ag Supply. This is an example of one. This is what I call 15/16. This is a 15/16 bore shaft. These are what you're going to find at Ag Supply. These are what all my little spare parts fit. I bought some spare bearings for it. Nothing wrong with them, they're just 15/16, and they're pretty easy to get as far as getting parts for them. What I found out on these Lilliston brands, this shaft here is a 3/4. So I had to back up and punt again and find some 3/4 stuff. Now what I could not find any of this that goes to this. Now, I mean, I suppose I could have used what came from Ag Supply, but that's really big. It's almost big enough to go over top. It's almost big enough to put that inside of it. So this is 15/16 stuff is easy to find. Matter of fact, here's a 15/16 bearing, and you can see how that is. So I found some bearings that will go on the 3/4 shaft, and they'll fit fine and they work fine. So we'll rebuild it with the old stuff. So what I did is I took it loose and got it ready to reassemble, so I can just go from taking this one apart to showing you putting it back together. So, all right, so first thing we got to do, you got to get the rock guards off. And I have these things set up on the table like they're going to be on the tractor. So this is exactly, I'm driving the tractor, I'm looking down. This is the way these cultivators would be riding through the dirt at this point. So let's grab something here. Let's see, probably about a 7/16. Yeah, we got it. So yeah, we're going to cheat a little bit, guys. We're going to use a little electric. And I sprayed these things. I think the last video I did, I was telling you guys that I had sprayed them. Just anticipation of doing this. So that just drops out. It's got a little carriage bolt on it. We can just put all them right there. Drops out. Uh-oh. And they're nothing hard to get out or anything. So we're expecting some snow tonight. And I hope everybody fares well. I don't mind seeing a little snow, but I don't want to see nobody lose any power. So hopefully we won't do that. So rock guards are off. What I like doing is just taking the rolling cultivators loose from the frame. And that's just simply taking these little carriage bolts loose right here. And what's going to happen is it's going to roll out of that frame. And you just have to keep in mind of where things are lined up. I mean, it's really not that hard. If you want to leave one kind of if you want to leave one of them kind of together until you put this one together and then put this one together, that's probably fine too. Now what you may run into, especially if it's a wore out pair, some of this stuff can be, the dirt can have rode across this so much it's done wore it out. Matter of fact, this nut right here, I found this nut. The nut that was on here was a slender one like that, but it had wore it down to like a nub. So I found that one for replacement. My other two sets of rolling cultivators and the disc that you guys see on video, they are 15/16. So I'm not, I didn't waste my money on those extra parts right there. I can always use them for those. But for my 5 gain, it is a 3/4. So 15/16 is probably the most popular. 3/4 would be your Lilliston. And I don't know, maybe Lilliston has gone to 15/16. This may be a 20-year-old set, 30-year-old set, I don't know. It's a good set, but I don't want to tell nobody wrong. I'm just telling you what I got here is 3/4 and 15/16. Never really done a kind of a how-to working on something video. I do watch videos that are kind of how-to, and it seems like there's a lot of splicing in them and pausing and all that good stuff. I've kind of enjoyed watching this guy called Vice Grip Garage work on stuff. I kind of really like the way he goes out and finds stuff that ain't run in a long time. I wish he'd do a tractor. Just tapping it here, trying to get all the old dirt loose, pop a few things off. At this point, you can drive these carriage bolts back in this way. And you've seen it do that right there. And if you get those carriage bolts out, what's going to happen is you can just slide it out of the way. So we'll try it that way. It's going to have a lot of dirt, rust, those things in it. See, my carriage got stuck. Okay. And you can see, guys, this carriage bolt's wore off a little bit right there. You can reuse them. I'll tell you what I had to do, and I'll tell you when I get this out here. I bought some new carriage bolts, but I will reuse the old ones until I absolutely can't no more. All right, so the carriage bolts are out. The rock guards are out. And this thing, with a little bit of shaking, she'll come right out. And there she is. So we'll slide the frame up a little bit. And at this point, get a little bit of our rust out of the way. At this point is when you would take these off, which I do have a socket for that. And this is where an impact comes in nice. The very first set that I ever rebuilt consists of holding this with a pipe wrench, putting a pipe wrench here, and I think I even put a steel pipe or something across here to try to keep these things from moving. But we got it done, and that's what matters. Okay, so we'll take this off now. And guys, I had about a week ago, I had already taken just the nuts off to see if I could. So, you know, You can, like I said again, if you want to leave this set, washer, not sure what that's called. This is half of the bearing holder right here. That comes off. And then now we got the bearing itself. Now here's where it's going to get a little opinionated. Now that thing is most of the time seized up on that shaft pretty good. This bearing here actually is a good bearing probably. What I do, and I'm not telling you guys to do, this is my own stupidity. I will get a punch and I'll hit that bearing right there and that'll break off. I'll take the rest of the stuff off. And then I'll take that same punch and hit this part of the bearing here, and I may have to hit it several times across there. It'll break off. That's what I do. I'm not telling you guys to do that because obviously that metal is pretty dangerous flying around. This bearing here is shot. On normal set of rolling cultivators, I would replace all of this. But on this set right here, I'm actually going to reuse all the washers and stuff. And where it's wore, we'll just turn it away from the dirt where it's wore out. So let me get these two things off and I'll bring it back. Well, I guess I can show you. Let me get a punch and I'll bring you back and I'll show you what I do to get that off. All right, so guys, what I do, I'm going to put our glasses on here, and Will, don't stand too close to it. All right, that cracked. That cracked that thing right there. We'll go to the other side of it. I cracked it there. And we'll crack it again. All right, she fell apart. In which, you know, I said that that was a good bearing. That's a very loose term, good. I mean, it rolled, but that's about it. So now at this point, you know, you can get this off. And you can get that part off. And this part. In which all of them are good parts. They just need to be cleaned up. So we're left with this part here. And guys, I know, if I had a torch, I would probably heat it cherry red. Maybe pour some cold water on it, maybe not, you know, and get it off with a torch. But I don't have one, so. Y'all make fun of me. I bought this from Sears when I was about 18 years old. So yeah, I probably do need to put a handle on it, but she's a good hammer. And this part always seems to, yeah, it's still. You just don't want to let go. And I'm not hitting the threads. I'm hitting the bearing inner part. And it helps. I seen if I hit it with the round part here. We'll try the punch, but I really don't think the punch is going to work on this part. Yeah, no. Let's go ahead and get this one off. Yeah, see, that seems to explode out pretty quick. Which that was a bad bearing all the way right there. So we pull all this off. Man, get you a hammer, dude. Oh, hey guys, look. That one's loose. Yay. All right, so just got to get this one. I'm losing a little bit on this ground. So let's put it over here at this concrete. Because I'm losing some of my strike. You stand behind me, over my head. That one is just wanting to be rough. Keep it up, we're gonna have a tune here. Well, I think my handle's done gave up the ghost. All right. Enough of that. I'm sure by now somebody's saying, please fix that hammer. Let me go get a little thicker hammer and see what we can do. All right, guys. I ain't gonna play with it no more. So we're gonna put it on this scrape blade here. She's a good one. And there she went. I know, it's a terrible way to have to do it. Oh, there we go with the mic. Yeah, guys, it's a terrible way you have to do it, but, you know, could I have probably heated it? Yeah. Could I have maybe, you know, just you use what you got. And that's what I had, and that's how I get them off. I'm going to go around here and get the parts real quick. All right, we got the parts. So we'll set all these right here. Thought I'd see if I could get the rest of this off with a chisel. Just got to be careful. Like I said, you know, I didn't necessarily say that was the right way to do it, but it's the way that I have done it. All right, we got a burr right there on that shaft. We'll have to get that off of a flat file, but I got to clean these up a little bit anyway. So now she's disassembled. We'll take a flat file, we'll clean that shaft back up. We'll sandpaper this back up. New bearings, clean all this back up. She's ready to go back in. This one happens to be ready to go back in. Now, if you notice, guys, this shield is wore down from the dirt. So what we'll do is we'll take the shield that was on this side away from the heel and we'll put it on this side. When it's all said and done, this shield is going to be like that, pointing up. This is be closer to the dirt, which this bottom tine here, it doesn't get the dirt that this tine gets anyway. So we put that on. This one we'll put right here. This one's wore off a little bit right there. We'll put it on the back side of the dirt. And now, here we are with our new bearings. New bearing goes all the way against the rolling cultivator. There we go. Make sure she sings a little bit. Take the other bearing. And that one went all the way against it, no problem. So at this point, I'll look at y'all. Very carefully do this. And just needed a tap. I forgot to put the bearing in the holder. Now she goes on there. And again, just this side's probably got a little burr on it somewhere. And the top of it went. All right, there we go. Okay, that's the end. Take this one off. That's the end. So now we need to put the front of the bearing cap on. So that's how that's going to go right there with the new bearing. And where's my other cap, Will? Oh, here it is. This one right here. And at this point, the only thing left to go on will be this right here. So, now this is the part that's, I ain't gonna call it tricky, but you gotta line the frame back up on it. So that carriage bolt at this point, and you can go ahead and put this on and start it, it's not gonna hurt it. Alright guys, I forgot to hit that a little bit. So we're coming in between, there we go, the bearing and this little jewel. There we go. I get everything lined back up, guys. So let's start one. There's one side. I should or should not put this tap on. Hopefully it won't cause it to. And we'll draw it up a little bit. I'll put that lock on it in a minute. Just a matter of getting them lined up in that hole and so on and so forth. There we go. And that seems to be on there. What you want to make sure though is that that bearing is, that this is riding on the shaft of that bearing, kind of like this front piece. You want to make sure of that. And I think it is. I can get my light out. Yeah, it looks like it is. Okay, let's work on this side. Get them somewhat lined up. Whoops. There it is. Okay. That one's in there. And we'll get this bottom one in. And we're looking pretty good. All right, guys, here's a tap that's wore off pretty bad. So we'll toss him. And we'll put us a new one on it. First of all, we got to put the bolt in. Do I got one more bolt? Oh, I do have one more. It's in the bag. Right there. And that's nice. The last one went in pretty easy. So at this point, I don't know that it makes a big deal, other than if I can show you on this bearing here. This washer right here, it's not big enough to go over that. It rides against this, but you need to make sure that that bearing is in between it, like so to speak. So when this is on there, it's going to be like that right there. But make sure that bearing is flush with that. So that's the only thing I'm looking at here, and they seem to be. So what we'll do is we'll take the impact, and I'm going to go ahead and tighten the bearings down. Somebody don't know they're reversing forward. Okay, so those are all pretty much tight. And the ones that we can get a lock washer back on, let's go ahead and which I don't think all of them had a lock washer. I don't see no more over here. There's one here. Doesn't look like we rebuilt it, guys, but it's got the most important thing, and that's new bearings in it. Lock, lock. So we'll go ahead and tighten these two up over here. I guess with anything, you know, something like this, just kind of go up even with them, I guess. I don't know if it makes that big of a deal. I heard a guy one time say, just give it a yank, Frank. Okay, so that collar's on, that's on, and we'll tighten this one up a little bit. Let's look over here, guys, and see if we got a washer. Oh, look at there, look at that. Y'all see these things working this spring, you say, yep, I watched him put bearings in it. Now he's cultivating this Hastings, or sweet corn. Okay, so this shield right here that was riding on the bottom is riding at the top now, so that took care of that. That's gave it all new life. And now, there's your bearings. Ready to go for a whole nother ride. Oh, let's put these on real quick. So putting these back on, obviously, is not that, you don't drop your washer. It's not that difficult. And again, kind of look at these things, because they rub the dirt too. Put them back with the less wore ones. War? Am I saying that right? War? Somebody commented one time, did I say rolls, R-O-L-L-S instead of R-O-W-S? And yes, I am guilty of saying rolls. So, Will, where's the... Oh, I see it. Kind of be careful with this and kind of hold it in right in front. There we go. It's going to have the tendency to go right, obviously, when you tighten it up. So you want to kind of hold it in the middle there when you tighten it up. So you put your rock guards back on, which all three of these, all of these look good, but you can see how those were in the dirt. All right, hold it in the middle. And there we go. One more, or two more. So again, guys, these are what I would consider Lilliston made with a 3/4 shaft. But anything you buy at Tractor Supply, and maybe a used one you might find somewhere, is probably going to be a 15/16 shaft, which Ag Supply can get all of that. If it happens to be a 3/4, just do a Google search for 3/4 spider bearings or rolling cultivator, and it generally comes up pretty quick. It wasn't that hard for me to find it. Back ready for the tractor. So, 5-gang rolling cultivator, new bearings. Again, the biggest part was getting the old one off the shaft, which we've seen that the one on this side did come off. 9 times out of 10, they're like, you can't get them off. Again, you know, you probably could heat them, I'm sure. You may even could take a wire disc cutter, cut into the edge a little bit, pop it with a chisel where you cut it, and it'd probably break it right apart. They're real brittle, but you just have to be careful of flying debris. So, just want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you for hanging in here. Thank you for watching the head of the hammer fall off, and we'll get that fixed one day. Maybe we'll make a video. Thank you all the new subscribers. God bless you. Have a good day. We'll see you.